Some are described as warm, some as kind or charitable, and some as made of gold. Whatever your heart may be, it's worth the care the Trinity Heart Center can give. Experienced specialists, advanced procedures, and a commitment to quality make us a leader in heart care. Trinity's accredited chest pain center at Trinity Health System.
And welcome to week 3 of
Four.
It's week 3 of the podcast, week 4 of the football season.
Okay, we're behind.
I get a clue, seriously. Did they make that movie after you? Clueless?
Clue? Yeah, because I'm a blonde lawyer.
God, you're a mess. You're an absolute mess.
I need to shave too. Look at this.
Yes, you do.
This is bad.
Does girlfriend like it?
Oh yeah, she loves it.
Really?
Yeah. She,
well, then you shouldn't shave.
yeah, she looks at. I'm starting to look like Russell Martin.
Nice.
So that's what I'll go for too. Maybe
I like that.
I can get a big paycheck like him too. Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Although his paycheck's going to be bigger next year.
What a season for him.
Yeah. Can you throw out runners like he does?
Absolutely not. I can't even get back to the pitcher.
Two hopper back to the pitcher.
Yeah. Can't catch a 95-mile-per-hour fastball either.
Oh, my goodness. Mike Mathison, Matthew Peaslee, and behind the scenes, Michael D. McElwain is just laughing at us because he can, really. Week 4 of the high school football season, fastest 10 weeks, as they say. First of all, before we continue, when we tape this, we haven't heard any more updates of the Buckeye local kids, Tyler Miller, Logan Barsh, and Devin Marquez. So we just want to send our prayers to the Panthers, their family, the boys, their families, and Buckeye local Panthers family, and the schools and the students. And it's just a terrible thing to have happen.
Yeah, right, coming home from football practice too. I mean, that's the last thing you expect. Just a normal day, coming home from practice, but anything can happen when you're behind the wheel of a car. I mean, we don't know the details of what happened.
Yeah, we have no idea.
But I get scared sometimes driving home from work when it's bad outside, but because nothing's guaranteed. Some stuff you take for granted, going to school, going to practice, coming home from practice, having dinner with your family, doing homework. Like that's the routine, but the split second, all that can change.
And it did change, unfortunately. And one's in Morgantown. One of the boys is in Morgantown. One's up in Pittsburgh. Yeah, and it's, so continue prayers for them, and then, they're playing Indian Creek Friday night, and, the game is secondary. Yeah. Really.
I'm sure they'll have, prayer services all week leading up to the game and a vigil for these guys. I mean, hopefully they can pull through. We haven't heard the details of their statuses yet, but we got to hope for the best.
There's nothing official. Absolutely. There's no. We just know that. Here's what we do know: that for 3 kids, they have a new normal, whatever it is.
Yeah, for the rest of their life, so it could be
whatever it is, and I have no idea what it's going to be, and neither do they. But there's a new normal.
Yeah,
and you just have to go forward and. And so it was just that's one thing where social media is really good, because after it happened, it was immediately pray for these 3 boys, and and it just went around.
There's been an outpouring of support not only from Buckeye local kids, but kids from high schools across the Ohio Valley are tweeting their responses to this.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing. You go to beat each other. You go to beat each other up from Friday nights, but when something like this happens, and it's not the first time. It's been Oakland and Steubenville Big Red and Edison and Indian Creek. I mean, schools have had their Harrison Central. Schools have had it, and it's not just those in this part. There's other parts of the Ohio Valley where but in the Ohio Valley comes together and whatever you need will help.
Yep, and there will be a game Friday, but I think the week leading up for both teams is Indian Creek and Buckeye. It's not going to feel like a normal game week because this is more than just football. It's three lives at stake.
Yeah, it's just life.
It's tough.
You're right. It's more than just Friday night football games. Yep. So, speaking of Friday night football games, we have the Battle of the Bridge. Brooke High off their first win of the season for
big win on the road.
Big win. Went down to University, beat the Hawks 28-21. First win for Coach Mac McLean, the first Brooke alum to coach the football team. They had a 14-0 lead, ended up leading 28-21. Defense gets a stop late. Thomas Cole, another double-digit catch night.
He's a huge kid and good hands and keeps racking them up.
And he knows how to use it. I mean, because he's a basketball player, he knows how to use his body to go for a to go for a reception. And they go down to University after losing to Creek, losing to Morgantown. But you can see that the loss to Morgantown, they played a whole lot better.
Yeah.
And then they proved it when they go down. And unfortunately, now they have to turn around and go across the bridge and play Steubenville Big Red, who's coming off a huge 14-9 win over your Ursuline Irish.
That's right. Yep. And good game on both sides there. But Big Red played well enough to get the win. Ursuline tried to come back there at the end. But Ursuline couldn't get anything done on offense. I think Vito Penza, their quarterback, was stifled by what the
Big Red's run defense
was
is just nasty. It's just nasty.
Yeah, Ursuline only scored on a kick return and couldn't get anything going on
and
offense.
And a safety.
Kick
return and a safety. I mean, but yeah, Big Red's run defense is just nasty. It's just really hard to deal with. And big win for Big Red. They're 3-0, and the teams they've beaten are going to give them a lot of secondary points.
Yeah.
Coming in point-wise for playoffs. Now, Big Red has some Lawrence Lawrence Burke is out,
right?
Possibly for the season, more than likely for the season.
Ankle injury.
Ankle. They think it's a broken tibia, I think.
Yeah.
So now Dimitri Kolar steps in to be quarterback, and
he got the playing time last year.
He did a nice job. Yeah. He did a really nice job against Ursuline.
Yeah.
He came in and was ready for the opportunity and took advantage of it.
Sure. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what Brooke can do. Like you said, Steubenville's got such a good run defense, but Brooke's going to be throwing the ball too.
Yeah, Brooks has thrown the ball because obviously not only do you have Thomas Cole, you have Nathan Green and Justin Lawfrey running the ball, and Aaron Walker can run at quarterback. It's just
and a more confident Brooke team, I'm sure.
A much more confident Brooke team. I mean, you come in here, 1-2, knowing you've played better every week.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. You want to play better every week, and Brooke has proven that.
Going into one of their biggest games of the season. Harding.
Yeah, at Harding, and Steubenville Big Reds got tested 2 weeks ago against Cincinnati Glen Este, got tested last week against Ursuline. They're going to get tested this week against Brooke. That's just
and then the schedule doesn't even get.
Easier. They go to Mathison the week after.
Coming up next. Yeah, so
who just came out number one in the state in Division II.
Yeah, and what's Big Red's number 5,
fourth or fifth?
Tied for fifth,
something
I think,
like that.
in Division 4.
Then that's a rivalry game. We have another rivalry game at Clark Hinkle Field. We got Steubenville Central going to Toronto. The Red Knights are 2-1. Steubenville Central's 1-2.
They're both coming off lopsided games. Catholic Central lost to St. Clairsville 56-0, and Toronto rolled over Fairport Harding. So it's going to be
40-6. And was it Toronto beat Bridgeport 38-6, and then Hartport beat Fairport Harding 40-6, and they're 78-12 and 2. That's
they've come a long way since the Wellsville loss. Since the
Wellsville loss. They have a new quarterback. Blaine Rawson is behind center because Blaze Glenn broke an ankle in the first game against Wellsville. Steubenville Central, I watched the first half last week, and they weren't down 35-0 because they were 35 points worse than St. Clairsville. There was a fumble that probably wasn't a fumble. That was returned for a touchdown. And then a tip pass for a touchdown on a fluke thing, and then it just kind of snowballed. But I'm telling you, Steubenville Central I thought, had nice offense in the first half. Their defense played very well. It was just one of those things. Sometimes
those games happen. When things look okay, but you really can't put it all together to get in the end zone. But
they ran the ball well with Stone Romano. Tony Barber threw the ball well. The defense played well. It wasn't. I mean, people look at the score and thought, Steubenville Central got hammered 56-0. It didn't feel like. It just didn't feel like that.
Sure. And Toronto's running the ball a lot better than they did in that first game.
Trey Ross running the ball well. Nolan Clegg, although I heard Nolan Clegg got nicked up, so we'll see what his status is for Friday night. But he's running the ball well when he steps in for Blaine Rawson at quarterback. Trey Ross is running the ball. Drew Glowey's running the ball well. Their defense has given up 12 points in 8 quarters.
Yeah, so this is exactly the momentum they need into a big game.
And it's a rivalry game.
Backyard
rivals. It's just a good old-fashioned knock down, drag them out.
There'll be a lot of people there on Friday night.
Should be really busy. That place should be packed.
I'll be there too.
That's right. Yeah, man, you get some good games,
yeah, thanks.
man.
Yeah, I got a good boss. I'm
too nice to you. Seriously. Bel Air at Edison. You watched Edison play last week.
a lot better than they looked, I guess, in week 1 to Oakland, which they gave that game away at the end. A lot better than they looked at Carrollton when they got roughed up 44-13, I believe. They were in there with Edison. It was a good game. Towards the end there, a couple mistakes gave that game away. They snap a ball over the punter's head, goes 25 yards, sets up a Weir score. The defense had a little bit of trouble stopping Cam Davis, which any defense is going to have trouble stopping Cam Davis through a pick six. So Edison was in that game, had a good chance to win that. I'm sure they'll be fired up again to be at home for homecoming. And this Bel Air team that's coming in is 0-3. They hung with Shadyside a little bit last week.
Yeah, they did.
So it should be a good game in Richmond.
Yeah, 2-0-3 teams.
Yeah, they're hungry for that first win.
Yeah, well, both teams are, but at halftime the Weir Edison game was 7-7, and it was the defenses dominated really. Both
they shut them down.
Both defenses.
I mean, I don't think Weir got a first down till close to the second quarter. Edison couldn't get a first down till about 2 minutes before halftime. So the defenses were shutting.
And Colin Skills played well.
A lot better than he has too.
Yes.
Even Coach Stickles said that he's spreading the ball around too. He had 6 or 7 different receivers in that game. So and Ethan Shannon's running tougher too. So they're starting to come along too.
That defense is not bad at all.
Yeah.
Edison's defense can play.
Yeah. Mitchell Wells and Dom Rogers are tough.
Yeah, that's good. That's gonna be a good one. Then you got the 1-2 Oakland Golden Bears going to Williamstown, always a Class A powerhouse.
They're 3-0.
Class A.
They're
3-0. Oakland had the win against Edison in week 1, lose to Beaver Local in week 2, the second half meltdown, so to speak, and then lose 16-0 Indian Creek. I talked to Coach Whittington the other night, and he talked about they're just making too many mistakes at the wrong time, at the wrong point in the field. Yeah. We all no one can play a perfect football game because there's always mistakes, there's always oopses, but it depends on the timing of the mistake and where it is. And if you fumble the ball on your own one going into the end zone, you fumble the ball on the one going into the end zone, or it's 2nd and 1, you hold, now it's 2nd and 11, you get sacked, now it's 3rd and 17. It's just
one play can change just like that and ruin the flow of your offense and ruin the whole flow of the game if you mess up just one simple play. But it'll be a good test and a hard test.
Well, they're relatively healthy. Alex Swiger's out, which doesn't help them much because he ran the ball well in week 1 against Edison. But Chase Hartley's Oakland's defense minus the second half against Beaver Local has played really good defense for 10 out of 12 quarters. So they've kept them in games. They just have to stop the mistakes. Yeah. Which is, no one wants to make mistakes, but
hopefully that's why you practice.
That's why you practice.
So not always easy to put practice over to the game, but that's the goal of a coach, is to have your players ready for a game on Friday with practice during the week.
And Harrison Central goes to Union Local. Union Local's off 2 straight wins. They beat Buckeye in overtime, then beat Barnesville last week. Harrison had 2 wins, beat
Weir,
Buckeye Trail, beat Weir, and then lost a heartbreaker in the last second field goal to Plymouth last week, Division 7 Plymouth, which I think is 6th in the state in Division 7 in the first rankings. Yeah. Harrison Central lost 3 to injuries, one being Giovanni Rocky, who was life-flighted out. Apparently he's doing much better. They need to, both 2-1 teams. Someone's looking to be 3-1. Yeah. And Harrison is just beat up. Injury
they were beat up really from the start of the season.
Yeah, they have been.
And when I saw them against Weir, they played they could have lost that game too. They could have lost the Buckeye Trail game. All 3 games have been within 3 points, and
they've all been one-score games.
Yeah, really. And
1 point, 2 points, 1 point. Yeah.
Yes. But we'll have to see how they can bounce back from really a heartbreaking loss like that at home as they go on the road to open up conference play for them.
This is pretty, and this also is pretty much kind of coaching on the fly, so to speak. Because you got to plug kids in here, plug kids in there. Yeah. It's kind of next man up, so to speak. And if you're ready to play or not, it's your turn to play.
Yep, and that's young kids, sophomores or freshmen that might get a chance to play in this game. This is what but it's not always easy for them to step up in the limelight of the Friday night lights.
No,
but it's got to be.
And
something
you're on the road.
Yeah,
it's a UL team that's obviously won 2 in a row, lost a one possession game in week 1 to Monroe Central.
Almost lost to Buckeye.
Yeah, and came back and beat Buckeye. Well, it's going to be,
could be a good one.
Could be a good one. And then the other game, we have 7 games Friday night, no game Saturday. Weir High goes to Grafton. Last year when these teams played in week 4, they were both 0-3. This year they're playing in week 4. Grafton is 3-0. Weir High is 2-1. So, complete turnaround.
Yeah, from last year. Good
for
team.
both teams. I can't think of the kid's name because I'm that dumb. But the quarterback for Grafton is a sophomore. Played last year as a freshman.
Wow.
Was thrown in the fire, so to speak. And I know through 2 games he was 21-28 throwing the ball.
Sheesh.
And according to Coach Roberto, they are mirror images of each other. We're in Grafton. Spread them out, like to run it, we'll throw it. And the question is which defense will make a stop when it needs to make a stop.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting then too. Like we talk about Cam Davis, just of how exciting he can be, and the offensive line for Weir played a lot better in the second half against. They were able to make those holes for Davis, and Will Larch had a big run of 40 yards that set up a field goal try for Weir in the second half there too. So. And Larch had a little bit of trouble throwing the ball against Edison, so he's got to be able to do that against Grafton if they want to win this game on the road too.
They have to, because that was Edison came back from. Weir High came back, I believe, from a 21-0 deficit last year. It might have been 21-0, 21-6, and then went for 2 late in the game. I still remember this. I'm on the field. They're going to go for 2. Coach McKenzie calls timeout to discuss the 2-point conversion. They convert, and they convert to go at 22-21 and hold on to win, which was their first win in forever.
Yeah,
they were on a pretty long losing streak. So that's pretty nice for teams to go from 0-3 a year ago to now being 3-0 and 2-1. And Weir High was this far away from being 3-0.
Yeah,
basically.
Really.
That's a pretty good turnaround.
Yeah,
Man.
and this is a good setup for postseason play because Grafton's going to be wanting to make the playoffs, and Weir has a chance to make the playoffs.
Absolutely,
too.
absolutely. And whichever team wins is going to get some nice secondary points down the road too, because either team's going to keep winning.
Yep.
There's no two ways about that. And as much as I hate the West Virginia bye week, it comes at a perfect time for Madonna. They have the week off after losing 2 in a row, losing to Tuskegee Central Catholic, and losing to Winnie Central. So they get to lick their wounds, so to speak, and kind of get back to basics and get ready because they're on the road for the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's rough, especially for a young team like they have that they need to hopefully regroup this time and work on what they failed in the past 2 weeks and hopefully be set up for a more successful run here in the second half of the season.
And I think they will. It's just, like I said, it's just a perfect time for a bye week.
Yep.
Literally a perfect time just to kind of take a week off to figure stuff out.
Did we get a week to figure stuff out like that too? Did we get a bye week?
No, we don't get a bye week. Yeah. There's no such thing as us getting a bye week. Yeah. Week in, week out, look at Mackle when he scratches his bald head.
Yep.
Shake his head like.
That's the grind.
That is the grind. What about your Buccos tonight?
We're gonna sweep the Red Sox, sweep the Brewers, and we're taking the division. We want the Cardinals. It's gonna be easier for the Pirates to win the division than it is catch that first wild card spot.
Yeah, because the first wild card spot is the Giants, right?
Yeah, they got one of the. I mean, they're obviously in second place in the West, but we can get a couple more home games instead of just that one wild card game. But if we are playing in the wild card game, it's the exact 1 year anniversary of last year's wild card game, October 1st.
The exact, not the 1 year anniversary, but the exact
that's right.
1 year anniversary
that's right. Of the most magical night in Pirates baseball history.
Well, I'm not sure about that.
For me, at least.
I was gonna say I'm not sure you were there in the when they won the 79 series.
Yeah, I wasn't even a
thought
blip on the radar. But go Bucks, go high school football.
It's going to be fun. There's no two ways about it. Once again, prayers for Buckeye Local, the 3 boys, their families. Just continued good luck and continued to get healthy and
hope for the best. Everybody's praying and pulling for them.
Yep, absolutely. We'll see you next week. Later. Bye.
See ya.
Wait.
What's his name will not make it on the
Wait.
Please see the water.